they like to kind of twist a lot of things that are happening. So where you've got the most extreme activists in their society and say that all the LGBT are like that, they're all deviants, disgusting, backward perverts, and they're ruining our society. Ben Shapiro, when he gets upset, he starts talking faster and higher.
His voice, I'm pretty sure he's actually a robot. And like,
yeah.
The manufacturers just put him out before they sorted out the voice box situation, because I cannot bear to listen to him. But I saw
so
him with Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he goes on this 5-minute, like, I'm exaggerating, it was like a 45-second long spiel about like gender identities and blah 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 blah, and Neil is a scientist and what is his thoughts and like how can he this, and then Neil was just like, why do you care?
Yeah.
And Ben was like,
One of those areas is the area of transgenderism. The argument that is typically made by gender theorists is that gender is entirely separate from sex. You've seen the argument made that it makes no difference on average if men are stronger than women are, and that if we were to allow transgender women to compete with non-transgender women, then this would somehow not disadvantage biological women. And this seems to me absolutely ascientific, that if we're actually going to have a discussion about gender and sex, that should be based in data, which suggests that mammals are in fact binary in terms of their sex, unless you have intersex birth defects typically, or genetic defects.
I'm happy to opine on this. This only matters because today we segregate nearly all sports by gender. Otherwise, why do you even give a shit what someone identifies with? So we live in a free country, and with consenting adults and people free expression of who and what they are.
Yeah, on an adult level, I agree with you. I think it does matter what you teach your children.
Saying. And so there's the matrix of what you are biologically, how you express yourself, who you choose as a sexual partner. If we actually live in a free country, as we tell ourselves, people's freedom to behave in any of those ways should not concern you at all.
I don't understand where all this hate comes from. Like, if you don't want to if you don't believe in abortion, don't get an abortion. If you don't believe in gay sex, then don't get gay married. If you don't if you don't support trans people, then at least don't hurt trans people. Just leave people alone to let them live their lives and do their thing. They're not hurting you. They're not hurting themselves or anybody else. Just fuck off already and let people be.
Yeah.
And what kills me the most is that the people who are the most hateful are the ones who would identify as the most Christian. And the whole point of, if you get down to the basis of the majority of religions, it is about being a good person.
Yeah.
Supporting each other, taking care of one another, feeding the hungry, clothing the naked, housing the homeless, and just they call it the golden rule, right? Do unto others. And they just have to push their way onto everybody. I mean, fuck, Jesus hung out with hookers.
Yeah, tax collectors.
And tax collectors, like, he was hanging out with the same people. If Jesus showed up today, it would be like, just go sit in the back. Like,
yeah.
We like to talk about you, but not actually follow anything that is your belief system. It's just, it's
so hateful. Because the whole idea was that you don't have to agree with people or their way of life to think that, okay, you just let them be, What
was that other phrase? Like, hate the sin, love the sinner?
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have to agree with what I'm doing, but you just have to accept it. And if you can't accept it, then just shut up about it.
One of the things I find most interesting with Christianity is how much hate everybody gives Leviticus. But Leviticus, the whole essence of that book is don't be a dick. Like, if you read it, it's basically just, it's probably one of the most loving in a really weird way. It's all about auditing and economics and ownership and all that stuff. But it's like, okay, this is the world as it is while I'm writing this book. and this is how you should live in this world. Take the essence of what I'm saying and then apply it in your culture and your social norms. And if you follow that, then Leviticus is a fantastic book, but people completely misunderstand it.
But I mean, the whole book, the whole basis of it was just, like you said, don't be a dick, just be a good person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't hurt other people, don't hurt yourself. Give a little money to the church. I mean, the church does, or the Bible does say in several places about paying taxes.
Yeah.
But somehow churches have skated by on that one. But
all right. Yeah.
But still use the same book that tells them to pay taxes to not pay taxes and tell other people how to live their lives.
And then some of the arguments that I see, like Walsh and Shapiro, Michael Knowles and all that do, is that they like to kind of twist a lot of things that are happening. So where you've got the most extreme vocal activists in their society on the left that are arguing for X, Y, and Z, they take those examples and say that all trans people are like that, all the LGBT are like that, they're all deviants, they're all disgusting backward perverts, and they're ruining our society. That's the overall message that they seem to give. And it's like, well, actually, if you were talking about free speech like you claim to be, then you and your group wouldn't be trying to ban these school books. You wouldn't be trying to ban talk about girls' periods. You wouldn't be trying to ban teaching about LGBT lifestyles so that they could be more accepted. You wouldn't be like banning things.
Okay, today we look at another attempt to brainwash and indoctrinate our kids through children's literature. This one is called the Gay BCs because, of course, the regular ABCs are not good enough. I have normally been opposed to book burning, but I would make an exception for that appalling mass of insanity and filth.
No, but it's like they would be the first ones to shit talk cancel culture, but then they're the first ones who want to cancel everything that makes them uncomfortable.
Today we're going to cancel book burners. Now, this should be a cancellation that I'm doing in 1930s Germany, not modern America.
If you don't want to read those books to your children, don't read those books to your children. But it's not up to you to decide what other people can read to their children.
Exactly. That's the whole point of a library, is you go to the library and take out the books that you want to read. You don't read every fucking book in there, do you?
It's like, and it kills me that they try, like their biggest argument against gay marriage at the time was that about the Bible. But it's like not everybody who gets married is Christian. They are not following the same Bible. Atheists get married, Muslims get married, Hindus get married. They do it in their own way with their own, in their own religious houses. And like, it's fine if a church wants to say, we don't support gay marriage, so we're not going to allow gay marriages within our church. That's fine because you're a private institution. But to say that people in general can't get married because of a Bible, like, a marriage is not a religious event. Like you make it religious, but you could go to a church and do the whole thing. But if you don't have your government giving you that license, you're not fucking married. And it's a license from your government, not a cherub that has descended from heaven with a license signed by God. Like it's a probably a cash grab because it's like it's a municipal license. But like it's just trying to infringe everything. I can't even formulate the words. It just makes me mad.
But I forgot myself now. I was going to follow on from something that you said. I was too busy laughing at you.
With me.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. With you. Yes. And the interesting thing I find is like when they keep trying to spin a lot of stuff that's in the Bible, that the Bible says this, the Bible says that. And ultimately, a lot of it is how we interpret it. But like, they can't accept that they're interpreting it that way and that another denominational group of people interpret it differently. So in my interpretation of reading the Bible, different translations, it doesn't say anything against gay sex or gay marriage. It doesn't say anything, like even the Quran doesn't prohibit gay sex.
It's the picking and choosing for me that is so hypocritical. Like you can't in good conscience say, well, the Bible says this, while at the same time you are spouting off hate, you're working on a Sunday. I mean, it's in the 10 Commandments, right? Like there's a football or a hockey player who they were doing pride jerseys. and he said he wouldn't wear the Pride jersey because his religion, but he will play a game on a Sunday, which is also kind of against the religion. So the picking and choosing, it's like, you cannot hide behind the Bible to justify your hate. Just be hateful. You don't need religious backing, because at the time, Jesus was preaching tolerance and acceptance and love and charity. He wasn't preaching any sort of hate.
Yeah. He's trying to say, like, well, the world is shit, and this is how we can make it less shit. And that should be the overriding goal. The other thing is, I mean, more of a funny example is look at the amount of Christians that eat fucking shellfish these days. And the Bible specifically states that you shouldn't eat shellfish.
That's true.
So
it also says you should be able to sell your daughter into sexual slavery, but I don't see a lot of that.
Oh, no, it doesn't tell you to do that. It says that, like, these are the rules of the time.
This is when you can.
Yeah. And it's like, it's more about, like, if you're going to do it, this is how you need to do it appropriately to make sure that all involved aren't getting, like, fucked over, basically.
Here's how you nail down that business transaction.
Yeah, exactly. And nowadays, we don't apply that because we don't believe in selling off your daughters to slavery anymore. But you take the you take the essence of it, of what it said, which is treat people in your transactions appropriately and respect all involved and don't fuck people over. That's what it's saying. It's not actually saying to sell your daughter into slavery. That's just the example.
Yes, it is an example, but it's also kind of like, it still permeates a little bit, like when fathers give their daughters away at the wedding day. It's kind of like, she's not my problem anymore.
Yeah.
I used to own her, but now you own her.
Yeah,
you take her from here. You take her from here.
Enjoy your new toy.
I mean, I don't follow any religion. I don't subscribe to religion. I grew up Catholic, and that's how we grew up in our home. And I went to a Catholic school, but it's never sat well with me. But I don't know where, like, I feel like when I was a kid, you were religious or you weren't. You didn't use your religion to justify any sort of hatred or bigotry. It was a private thing.